Yo, 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 what is up? This is Derek with yet another vlog clip. I don't know why, but I decided I wanted to talk about the times I actually experienced psychic phenomenon. Ooh, this is gonna be scary. I'll try to keep it as brief as I can, and some of this may make sense to you and some of it may not. But I'm gonna start with actually way back in the day. I want to say the year, it had to have been 1977. And normally, let me give a quick backstory. Normally in the summers back then, my aunt and I, as we lived in Anson County. Well, my aunt is still there. Of course, obviously, I'm no longer in Anson County. We would take the bus, Trailways, normally, to go to Washington, D.C. to visit my parents. Yeah, my parents, because I had to catch myself with what I was about to say. And this is where the psychic phenomena part comes in. So, this particular summer, my mother had a doctor's appointment. And so I think my father, he took her and I went along. I think my aunt stayed home. And I think the night before, or maybe even sometime that summer, I dreamt that she was pregnant. And I just knew that she was gonna have a baby. I just knew. So anyway, so we go to the doctor, and sure enough, Dr. Berry, because that was her name, she comes into the room and she tells my mother that she is pregnant. I forget how far along she was at that time. And so, talking about my brother. So if you're listening, I'm talking about you. Yeah. If you never knew, I knew that you were going to be. For one thing, I always wanted a brother or sister anyway, and I got him. Kidding, I love you, mean it. Anyway, I knew, and that's my whole point. And she was shocked. She had no idea, but I knew. Another little moment that stands out in my mind where I experienced psychic phenomena, and this is going to sound really weird. I don't even know how to go into this, but this is going to delve into the Javier story. For those of you who know what I'm talking about, you know, I used to talk about this all the time back in the day. And some of y'all used to say to me, oh my God, not the Javier story again. Yeah, the Javier story again. So this was at a point in time where he basically had stopped communicating with me, and I should have taken the hint, but I didn't because I was so stupid and in love back then. And so I went back to North Carolina because that's where I actually met him. I was here in Atlanta at the time, and this is like what, 95, I want to say 96. I think 96 actually. And so I drove up there to Chapel Hill because that's where he was living at the time. And so I began a search for him. Let's just put it that way. I'll just cut to the chase. I began a search for him. Look for him at the club, look for him at his former residence, I guess. And I got clues from one of his friends, I think at the club, to go to this particular apartment, and I did. And so I got there, and I think I got the door number wrong. I can't even tell you for the life of me what it was. B2, C3, something, whatever. And so I was like knocking on doors like an idiot. Let me just go there like an idiot. And didn't see him, didn't find him, got the wrong apartments, blah, blah, blah. So I left. But then there was this voice inside of me that told me to, as I was leaving, I kid you not, voice in my head told me to drop my keys, bend down to pick them up, and slowly turn around. And so I did that. And I saw a female friend of his, of Javier's. So Javier is, if you happen to see and hear this video, I don't think you ever knew this part of the story. But anyway, and it was, again, his female friend. And so I went up to her because, you know, we'd met blah, blah, blah before. And sure enough, she told me that, yes, they were staying at one of those apartments there. Isn't that wild? And so she told me that he was spending the night at a friend's and he would be back later on that night. And so I came back that night, saw him, blah, blah, blah. But the rest is history because we stopped seeing each other after that. But those are two main examples. I'm quite sure if I sit here and think hard enough, there are more, because I've had, actually there are more, and I don't want to like ramble on and on about that, but I've had some very interesting phenomenon. Actually, I will tell you this. also the most recent one that actually involves my roommate. Won't mention his name at all, but he already knows this. That, oh God, he moved in here in 2023, and before that, for about a year now. So 2022, because I went to Europe in 2022, et cetera, et cetera. There was this voice that was telling me, yeah, y'all are gonna end up living together. And before y'all start getting dirty thoughts in your minds, it's platonic, we friends, okay? And anyway, so for a year this went on. So basically about 2022. And I kept saying, that is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. Because at that point in time, I was living by myself, y'all. And enjoying living by myself again after Steve passed away. I can say his name because he's gone. But I won't go into details about that. Anyway, and so I was like, whatever. And I should have known better. Because when a voice in my head goes, is that strong, I should know there's something to it. As opposed to the intrusive thoughts that go through my head where it's like, that ain't happening, blah, blah, blah. But I should have known better about this one. And sure enough, next thing I know, at the end of that year, we were talking about moving in. Next thing I know, he was moving in at the beginning of 2023. So those are at least, 1, 2, 3 examples of my psychic phenomenon. And I will come up with more. Or I should say, I will recall other instances, and we'll most certainly let you know about those other instances. Oh, and before I go, astrology, because I did an astrology clip. I am a Taurus, you all knew that, rising Pisces. And Pisces is the sign of the mystic. And so a lot of Pisceans have that psychic ability. And apparently, so do I. See you on the next clip.
I know we can make it. I know we can make it. Ain't no one else for me. Ain't no one else for me. Ain't no one else. I know we can make it. My intuition tells